How's it going, Sagittarius? Thank you so much for checking out my channel here at Reflexive Moon Tarot. My name is Sarah, and I'm doing readings for you for the full moon in Virgo. So we are channeling energy that is centered in very grounding aspects of the self, very analytical, communicative, as Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. What else? Very wise in nature as well, and able to practice restraint. When you think about the Hermit card, which is ruled by Virgo, it's all about going within and having the wisdom to light the way for others through restraint. Let's just cut the deck, and there it is right there. So let's get into your reading, see what is up for Sagittarius for the full moon in Virgo. Ooh, dun dun dun. Something's changed you. You've gone through a complete cycle of like mental anguish, doing the work to come back into yourself, dealing with and learning how to tolerate the pain and anxiety that's affiliated with the unknown and trauma and all that blah 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 stuff that we have to process with our brains. But something's changed you, and you're done with it. And you know, there might be a piece of you that has died in that process, or just that's never going to be the same in that sort of sense. There's something about you that's never going to be the same. And crossing that, interestingly, is that, you know, you sort of on this like me party kick. So it could be that you are the only person that really, that doesn't sound very good. I was just going to say like that you're the only person that wants to celebrate your emotional well-being and accomplishments. That could be the case. But it could also be that, you know, celebrating an overconsumption could be coming to an end for you. Or it could be that it's been not a thing for you for a long time. It's an interesting combination. Now, overlooking the situation, we'll move ahead and maybe this will sort of unfold. We have the Hanged One with the universe, messages from the universe. So Piscean energy that is about toughing out discomfort to gain a new perspective. And subconsciously we have an emotional deficit. So there's something that you're done over. Maybe you're done feeling like you don't have anybody to have fun with. That when you're like on your own, you have to keep yourself content. And it's, you know, a tough choice, or like a tough decision that you've made, or there's just something really tough about how to change your view and take on things, and maybe even how to approach things. Or it could be like you've exhausted all possibilities in a situation, and now you're realizing that the water has run, that the water has like dried the F out. Right? In the past, though, your past has been like very positive, like full of ideas that you have, that you've brought about, like full of abundance, riches, even full of pleasure, full of good things you have experienced up until this point. You're really great at making ideas. Like, yeah, I mean, I feel like Sagittarius is sort of the visionary of all the signs, along with Aquarius. But this is more so about having ideas that take time to create and to come about, and just seeing them through. Now, in the near future, you may find that you are possibly betrayed or dealing with some type of grief and sorrow. I don't know what that's going to be about, but usually this card indicates it indicates grief on some level, like the ending of a relationship. Somebody could have wronged you in some type of way, betrayed you. That's no good. But I feel as though it's definitely related to, I feel like it's like you probably see it coming on some level. You probably had an idea that something was up. And no matter what, you're going to stay positive. Like you have this jolly, jovial approach to dealing with even the things that change us in ways that we did not necessarily consent to. Okay? You're very consistent with how you present yourself. You're very consistent with your ability to light up a space with your energy, how to foster growth and development, because we do have, the element of child here. So fostering growth and development within yourself and with others. This is just a very joyous card. Your attitude and approach is quite positive. You carry on. I feel like you carry on strong. But there is something like other people see that you're just not, you might not be shedding light on the toxicity that you bring to a situation or to the table. Now, it might not be that big of a deal. It might be very much a big deal. But there's just like people see that you're not really like, basically it looks like you're not willing to own up to the fact that your shit stinks sometimes. And I mean, you can say that. Like if someone says, so-and-so, you act like your shit doesn't stink. And you'll be like, yeah, I know. Sometimes I'm like that. It's how I am. But you're not the one. Basically, what this I feel like is saying is that you're not the type of person that is willing to come forth and address an issue and take responsibility. Like you probably still like to back out of things. It looks like you're backing out of something, or that you're just really holding on to saving face on some level. That's what I find is very is like the essence of the devil reversed, is just not wanting to let go or admit that you need to let go. And in this case, people can see that is the case. So basically you're not hiding anything, right? If you feel like you're saving face, or even if you're not aware of it, people are aware of it. You may be the only one who isn't. Now, the Page of Swords. This is an individual who could be an air sign. Communication is something that they're learning about. They could be a student. They could be a young person. So if they're an air sign, that means that they are either brain fart. They're Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. Or they have a significant one of those placements in their chart, depending on whether you know their chart. That to that extent is up to you. So this person, you either fear that they're going to influence you in some type of way, or that they're just never going to grow up, or you just really hope that they're going to learn whatever it is that they need to do well in life. Now, there's two very different perspectives on where this is at, but there just is somebody that you care about who is who could be a grown-up and also very immature, who has a lot of learning to do. You really want that for them. You have high hopes when it comes to that. And the fears would be that they don't. interestingly, like it looks like you still have high hopes, even though you're emotionally exhausted and sick of some shit. And it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle. Whatever is going on with this situation where people are taxing you in whatever type of way, or an individual is taxing you in a way that is breaking your heart, it's going to be like paradigm shift type of energy that's going to change the situation. And that might not always be accessible. It might, like, if you're already emotionally drained, I really think that you should consider, despite having like an abundantly regulated source of energy, you really should consider if this is like an issue of codependency for you, or like if it's worth taking on that challenge, or if you're just gonna have to accept the fact that nothing's gonna change and you're always gonna be heartbroken. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. That just doesn't seem like the logical thing to do if you want to live well with yourself or with an individual. But you may really be happy and content with me parties. That might be something that you're good with, and that's okay. It's entirely your choice. So whatever your intentions are, this card wanted to come through in reverse. So whoever this person, like, you're dealing with somebody who has really shitty intentions. Their intentions are not good. They're even malicious, I would say, on some level. It's like they just, like when you think about like oppositional defiance, it's like they just want to spite people for the sake of, because they can. Now, you can have compassion for somebody who's not neurotypical on that level, who has some type of sensory processing and subsequent defiant type of behaviors that are a result of either being born that way or nurtured that way. Like, we don't need to get into the whole nature versus nurture argument. But, how much compassion do you, like, where do you sort of draw the line at having compassion for somebody and then like losing your ability to have compassion for yourself and those types of boundaries to sort of save yourself first? Because what's the point of trying to save somebody who's drowning when they're literally just gonna take you down with them? It's a no-win situation. So, not to sound like a Debbie Downer, but even though like I sort of do, that's not my intention. What I feel like, if this card were to come upright, this is about you setting your intentions. Really, truly setting your intentions on how you want to be perceived. Do you want to be perceived as weak? Because the devil's, like, this energy is always weak on some level. It's compelling, but it's weak. It's out of weakness. An inability to tolerate pain, usually. Some pain is just virtually intolerable. So there's the compassion component again. We have the Page of Cups. So emotionally, there's another young person even, or just like if this is an extension of this Page of Swords, really emotionally and mentally, they are not equipped. They're not like at your level. All right? They just are never at your level. Oh, damn. They're not at your level. I'm not like ending off with so many court cards. And I think it's important too, like if this, a magician reverse, like having really crappy intentions like that and exposing yourself to people that have really bad intentions like that, or whose intentions are not pure, like you'll pick up on that. And I just really think it's, especially if you, like, it looks like you're one of the more empathic, or like your gifts are deeply rooted in empathy on some level in some cases. I mean, you can be an empath and still super narcissistic, but that's not what I'm trying to point out here. What I'm trying to point out here is that, you know, being around people, you're going to soak up their energy. It's going to influence you. It's going to alter your state. So if you really, truly see yourself as a certain type of person, you really have to stay away from people. Stay away from the things that will influence you, whether you think that that's happening or not. It is. So that's like, I feel like the valuable advice that this reading has to offer, that I'm interpreting here. We have Temperance, which is your jam. This is your energy right here. And we have the Knight of Wands. So again, somebody who is jealous of you, who just, it's like misery loves company. And are you going to let that fuck with your energy, to mess with your vibe? I don't think so. I really don't. You being like the fabulous, detached, flowy, watery, more watery sort of sign, the more watery sign out of the fire signs. I really think that that there's a lot to take away from this reading. It speaks to, you know, the reality of why it is so important to set healthy boundaries, and that it's really hard. But if you want to keep this cup full as opposed to dumping it constantly, there's some stuff that you got to do. There's some things that you need to look at, and there's some things that you have to address and continue until it's done. And you will have the strength to do this work. You got this. 100%. So let's pull some oracle cards, because we got a lot going on here, and we need to clarify with some virtue here. We got childhood memories, angel cards. This is a classic deck that I remember having in my home as a young person, that I remember being sold, you know, the vendors and the health fairs, the aunties, and good times. It's very, what's the word? Nostalgic, right? So we have simplicity, keeping it simple for yourself, not making things complicated. So if you find yourself saying that it's complicated, you need to check in with how it actually really is simple. The solution is simple. Okay? So we're also keeping it spiritual AF here. We'll pull a card for Sagittarius. And we have, stay away from people who make you feel like you're hard to love. Holy shit. Holy shit. How relevant is that? All right? Don't let anybody guilt you into thinking that you're the one that's difficult. Even if you are difficult, like, it's not your problem, really, when you think about it. It is and it isn't. I feel like a truly just society accepts the fact that people need to be carried sometimes in certain ways. And, you know, that's a gift that you bring to people, is by showing them how they can be there for you, right? And if they're not willing to accept how you need them to be there for you, and if you're not capable of, like, if their needs are unacceptable, unacceptable. We got some Lord Lemongrab energy here. Here, let's read this, all right? Even if you've acted like a big ol' asshole, you still deserve to be around people who see the goodness in you and point it out. If they find you hard to love, they ain't your people. Extra credit, someone pointing out that you've acted like an asshole doesn't mean they don't love you. Figure out if you're getting tough love or no love. And how are you doing this? Like, what does your self-talk look like? Let's point that out as well. You'll be way less of an asshole when you learn about this, all right? So learn about self-talk, learn about tough love versus no love, and remember that you deserve love. All right, Sagittarius? Take it easy. We'll catch you next time.